the most influential country singer of all time. Not the biggest, not the richest, not even the best. The one who changed what country music could be.
Come alive.
The one every single artist who came after had to reckon with. The one who built the foundation everyone else is still standing on. 10 names, one answer.
If you got the money, honey, I got the time.
And if you think you already know who it is, stay with me. Number 10, Loretta Lynn. Let's start with Loretta Lynn. Coal miner's daughter? That's not just a song. That's a mission statement. Loretta walked into Nashville in 1960 with zero connections, zero polish, and a voice that sounded like Kentucky dirt roads. And she didn't try to hide any of it.
So don't come home but drinking with lovin' on your mind.
Here's what made Loretta different. She wrote about being a woman in a way country music had never heard before. Don't come home a-drinking with lovin' on your mind. Fist City, The Pill. Radio stations banned that last one. The Grand Ole Opry wouldn't let her perform it. She sang it anyway.
If you want that kind of love, but don't need none of mine.
And you know what happened? Women showed up, not just to the concerts, to the songwriting. Loretta proved you could write from a female perspective, not apologize for it, and build a 50-year career. October 4th, 2022. She dies at her ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. She's 90 years old. And the tributes don't just come from country artists. They come from rock singers, punk artists, Americana musicians who weren't even born when Coal Miner's Daughter came out. But here's the thing about Loretta's influence. It's about permission. She gave women permission to write their own stories. That matters. But did she change the fundamental structure of country music itself? That's a different question. Number 9, Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard didn't just sing country music, he lived it. San Quentin State Prison, 1958. Merle's doing time for attempted robbery. Johnny Cash performs for the inmates. Merle's in the audience. And something shifts. When he gets out in 1960, he starts playing honky-tonks around Bakersfield, California. Here's what Bakersfield was in that era: raw, electric, anti-Nashville. While Nashville was putting strings on everything, Bakersfield was turning up the Telecaster and letting it bite. Buck Owens was doing it. Merle was doing it. And suddenly country music had an edge again.
Let him sing.
Okie from Muskogee. Mama Tried. Sing Me Back Home. These aren't just songs, they're working class anthems. They're about prison, parole, hard labor, broken families. Merle wrote from a place Nashville artists didn't even know existed. And here's what's wild. Merle influenced country artists and outlaw country and alt country and Americana. Dwight Yoakam cites him. Sturgill Simpson cites him. Even artists who went pop, they still look back at Merle as the standard for authenticity.
Take me away.
April 6th, 2016. Merle dies on his 79th birthday. And the tributes aren't just about his voice or his songwriting. They're about his lived experience. Merle made it okay to sing about being broke, being incarcerated, being imperfect.
Prisoner down the hallway.
But did Merle change the form itself, or did he perfect a version of it that already existed?
Let's look at the numbers. Only 9% of you are actually subscribed. Honestly, that's tough to see. Our team spends days hunting down archives and verifying every single fact just to tell these stories right. If you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly part of the community, so please hit subscribe. It costs nothing and helps us immensely. Now, for those already subscribed, very few of you have made the jump to our membership. And that's a hard pill to swallow because you're the ones who know our value best. If this channel has moved you or inspired you, consider joining. It's the price of one coffee, but it's the literal fuel for this channel. Let's keep this alive together. Back to the story.
Number 8, Lefty Frizzell.
Well, ain't no use to tarry, so
Lefty Frizzell is the most important country singer nobody talks about. And if you just said who, that's exactly the problem. Lefty's 22 years old.
time to go honky-tonkin' and we're gonna have a time.
If You've Got the Money, I've Got the Time hits number 1. Then I Love You a Thousand Ways. Then Long Black Veil. 4 songs in the top 10 at the same time. He's outselling Hank Williams. He's the biggest thing in country music. But here's what made Lefty different. His phrasing, the way he bent notes, the way he held a word just a fraction longer than you expected, the way he made a syllable do the emotional work of an entire sentence.
Gonna have a time. We'll make all the night spots dance to
George Jones heard that and built his entire vocal approach around it. Merle Haggard heard it and learned how to stretch time inside a song. Willie Nelson's behind the beat phrasing, that's Lefty. John Anderson, Randy Travis, Keith Whitley, they all studied Lefty Frizzell like it was a master class.
I've got the time to go honky-tonkin' and
But Lefty couldn't stay sober. By the late 50s, the hits dried up. He kept touring, kept drinking. July 19th, 1975, he dies of a stroke. He's 47 years old. And here's the tragedy. Lefty influenced almost every male country vocalist who came after him, but he died broke and mostly forgotten.
cause you win no more money, honey. I've no more time.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted him in 2021, 46 years after he died. So was Lefty the most influential? His technique was, but influence isn't just about technique. Sometimes it's about being first.
If you got the money, honey, I've got.
Number 7, Jimmie Rodgers.
Made my baby's lips so honeycomb.
Jimmie Rodgers invented country music. No, really. Before Jimmie Rodgers, country music didn't exist as a category. You had folk songs, you had blues, you had gospel. But there wasn't a thing called country music that people recorded and sold.
The world looking everywhere, we get love from here, love from there, and he.
Jimmie walks into Ralph Peer's temporary recording studio in Bristol, Tennessee, during what later gets called the Big Bang of country music. He records Blue Yodel, later known as Blue Yodel No. 1 T for Texas. It's part country, part blues, part yodel, part something nobody's heard before. It sells 500,000 copies, and suddenly there's a market.
Sound about sweet like turtle dove, and I guess I'm gonna call it love. And
Jimmie Rodgers becomes the first country music star, the first to tour nationally, the first to prove rural Southern music could sell to a mass audience. He records 111 songs between 1927 and 1933.
honeycomb, and the Lord.
Hank Williams studied those records. So did Lefty Frizzell. So did every early country artist trying to figure out what this new genre was supposed to sound like. But May 26, 1933, Jimmie dies of tuberculosis. He's 35 years old. He'd been recording for 6 years.
Lord, to be my baby, well, honeycomb, be my own. What a darn good life.
And here's the thing about Jimmie Rodgers. He was proto-country. He was the blueprint, but he wasn't the building. Someone else took what Jimmie started and turned it into the actual structure of country music as we know it. And that distinction matters when we're talking about influence.
My baby, well, honeycomb, be my own. Got a hank of hair and a beat.
Number 6, Patsy Cline. Let's start with Patsy Cline. And before anyone says she doesn't belong on this list, she invented a version of country singing Nashville didn't know it needed. That control, that restraint, that voice that could break your heart without ever breaking itself. She wins Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts with Walking After Midnight. Grand Ole Opry doesn't know what to do with her. She's too pop for the purists, too country for the crossover crowd. Owen Bradley takes her into the studio anyway and builds these lush, string-heavy arrangements that country radio had never heard before. Crazy. I fall to pieces. She's got you. Not honky-tonk, not rockabilly, not the Nashville sound everybody talks about when they talk about this era. This was something else. This was a woman singing from the deepest part of herself and making it sound effortless. Then March 5th, 1963, plane crash outside Camden, Tennessee. She's 30 years old, and here's what happened next. Every female country singer who came after her, Loretta, Dolly, Reba, Trisha, Martina, Carrie, they all had to figure out what to do with Patsy's ghost. That vocal standard she set, that emotional honesty. You know how many times you've heard a female country vocal and thought, that's the Patsy Cline approach? Even if you didn't know that's what you were hearing, she didn't just open the door. She showed women how to walk through it with their dignity intact. But most influential of all time, let's keep going. Number 5, Willie Nelson.
Quite as good as I should have.
Willie Nelson didn't just change country music. He broke it in half and rebuilt it on his own terms. Here's the thing about Willie. He was a failed Nashville artist first, wrote Crazy for Patsy Cline, wrote Hello Walls for Farron Young, wrote hit after hit for other people, while his own records went nowhere.
Oh, me.
RCA dropped him. Nashville told him his voice was too weird. His phrasing was wrong. He didn't sound like what country was supposed to sound like. His house burns down outside Nashville. He moves back to Texas, grows his hair out, stops trying to sound like anybody else. And then he records Red-Headed Stranger. Columbia Records hears it and panics. It's too sparse, too strange. Where are the strings? Where's the production? Willie tells them to release it anyway.
Just never took the time.
Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain hits number 1. The album goes multi-platinum, and suddenly country music has a new model. You don't have to play Nashville's game. You can own your masters. You can control your sound. You can be commercially successful and artistically uncompromised.
But you were always on my mind.
The outlaw movement doesn't happen without Willie. Farm Aid doesn't exist. That whole generation of Texas and Americana artists who built careers outside the system, they're all walking a path Willie cut.
You were always on my...
But here's what's interesting. Willie's influence is about business and independence as much as music itself. He changed how artists thought about their relationship with the industry. Most influential? Maybe.
Quite as often as I could have.
But influence isn't just about freedom. Sometimes it's about the sound itself. Number 4, Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is the most successful songwriter in country music history, period. And if you think that's an exaggeration, let's talk numbers. Over 3,000 songs written. I Will Always Love You. She wrote it in one night in 1973, recorded it herself. It hit number 1. Then Whitney Houston records it in 1992 for The Bodyguard, and it becomes one of the best-selling singles of all time. Dolly makes more money from Whitney's version than from anything else in her entire career. Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, 9 to 5. These aren't just songs, they're cultural touchstones. But here's where Dolly's influence gets complicated. She went pop, she went Hollywood, she built Dollywood, she became a brand. And some people, especially the country purists, never forgave her for that.
Life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping.
Here's the question though, did Dolly influence country music, or did she influence what country artists realized they could become? She proved you could be bigger than the genre. You could own your publishing, you could build an empire, you could be a businesswoman, a movie star, a philanthropist, a songwriter, and a country singer all at once.
9 to 5, yeah, they got you where they want you.
Every female artist who ever negotiated a better deal, kept their publishing, or launched a side business, they're walking in Dolly's footsteps. But if we're talking about the sound of country music itself, the DNA of the genre, Dolly's influence is more about possibility than foundation, and that distinction matters.
Shatter, you're just a step on the boss man's ladder, but you got dreams he'll never.
Number 3, Johnny Cash.
Go singing loud. Daddy sang bass.
Johnny Cash made country music dangerous again. Cry, Cry, Cry on Sun Records. That boom, chicka-boom rhythm. That voice like gravel and whiskey. He's not trying to sound pretty. He's not trying to sound like what's on country radio. He sounds like a man who's been to prison and back, even though at this point he hasn't.
Daddy sang bass.
But here's what made Cash different. He took country music to audiences that country music had never reached. The prison concerts, the folk revival crowd, the rock audiences, the gospel tours. Bob Dylan cites him as an influence. The Ramones cover I Walk the Line. 9 Inch Nails' Trent Reznor watches Cash cover Hurt and calls it the most powerful version of his own song.
Help a troubled soul. One of these days it won't be.
Cash didn't just cross over. He brought authenticity with him. He made country music cool to people who thought they were too cool for country music.
Behind every cloud, just poor people, that's all we were.
American Recordings in 1994 with Rick Rubin. He's 62 years old and he makes the most raw, stripped down, devastatingly honest album of his career. And suddenly, every aging artist in every genre is thinking, wait, maybe there's a second act. But here's the thing about Johnny Cash's influence. It's cultural more than musical. He changed how the world saw country music. He made it rebellious. He made it outlawed. He made it respectable in circles where it had never been respectable before. Most influential, he's in the conversation.
I'll rejoin them in a song. I'm gonna join the families.
But influence isn't just about image. Sometimes it's about the thing itself, the sound, the structure, the foundation.
In a little while, Daddy sang bass.
Number 2, George Jones.
She's still preyed on his mind.
George Jones is the singer. Ask any country vocalist, any generation, any era, any style, who the greatest country voice of all time is. They'll say George Jones, not their favorite, the greatest. There's a difference.
I went to see my friend today.
You know that thing where a voice can break just right and you feel it in your chest? George Jones made a career out of that. He stopped loving her today. That's not just a sad song, that's a masterclass in restraint. He's not over-singing, he's not showing off, he's letting the lyric do the work and using his voice like a scalpel.
When I've crazy.
Frank Sinatra called him the second greatest singer in America, second only to Sinatra himself. But here's what makes George Jones's influence so specific. Every country singer who came after him tried to sound like him. That phrasing, that ability to bend a note.
He stopped loving her.
That lived-in quality. Waylon tried it. Alan Jackson built a career on it. Vince Gill talks about it. George Strait's entire vocal approach is in conversation with George Jones.
He kept her picture on his wall.
The problem with George's influence is this. He was a vocalist, not a songwriter, not a businessman, not a cultural icon in the way Cash was. His influence is technical. It's about craft, and that matters.
Oh, but I didn't see no tears.
But does craft alone make someone the most influential of all time? Here's the thing. George Jones showed country singers how to sing country, but someone before him showed everyone what country was.
And it kept running through my mind.
Number 1, Hank Williams. Hank Williams died on January 1st, 1953, in the back seat of a Cadillac somewhere between Knoxville and Canton, Ohio. He was 29 years old. He'd been a star for 6 years, and in those 6 years, he created the template every single country artist who came after him is still using.
I lost my heart, it seems, and I've grown.
Cold, cold heart, you're cheating heart. I'm so lonesome I could cry. Hey, good looking. Jambalaya. 3-minute songs, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, simple melodies, lyrics that said exactly what they meant. No metaphor for metaphor's sake, no production tricks, just truth set to music.
She don't care about me. I tried and I tried.
But here's what makes Hank the most influential. It's not just that he wrote great songs. It's that he defined what a country song could be, emotionally, structurally, thematically.
I lost my heart, it seems, and I've grown.
Before Hank, country music was regional. It was niche. It was hillbilly music. Hank took the form and made it universal. Bob Dylan covered him. The Beatles studied him. Tony Bennett recorded Cold, Cold Heart and took it to number 1 on the pop charts in 1951 while Hank was still alive.
Now that she is leaving.
Hank Williams taught the world that country music wasn't just for country people, and every artist we've talked about so far, Patsy, Willie, Dolly, Cash, George Jones, they all exist in Hank's shadow.
Goodbye. Well, Lord, I thought I would cry.
Patsy sang I Fall to Pieces, but she learned emotional restraint from Hank. Willie broke the Nashville system, but he started by writing Hank-style 3-minute songs. Cash made country dangerous, but Hank made it honest first. George Jones's phrasing, he learned it from Hank's records.
Feeling called the blues, Lord, since my baby said goodbye.
Hank Williams didn't just influence country music, he built it. Everything else is addition. Hank Williams is the foundation.
So used to you somehow.